Hey everyone, and welcome back to FSI DFS. I'm McKinley412, and today we're going to be looking at the night slate, changing some things up. There is a larger, earlier slate. I'll try to get a video out for that tomorrow morning. Can't guarantee anything. I do have some traveling that I have to do, but I will try to get that out for you. But right now, just the 6-game night slate that we'll be paying attention to. Atlanta is the only weather concern that we have at the moment. It's looking like there could be some rain showers they could be battling, but it could also just turn out to be just fine. We are still like 21 hours away from first pitch. So Atlanta, weather-wise, that's pretty much it. So pretty gross pitching slate, all things considered. It's kind of what happens when you get a short slate, but it is pretty straightforward if you kind of group them. Ooh, excuse me. Tired. Group them into pieces or into groups. Group them into groups. Fried, Gilbert, and Snell. It's kind of the high tier, the three most expensive guys. Snell, I have GPP only. He just really hasn't figured it out so far this season. I don't know what's going on, but we know that he can't have that ceiling game, so he is viable for GPPs. But still, it's pretty ugly. I don't really want much of interest in him, especially going up against Philadelphia. So it was kind of between Fried and Gilbert. It's kind of like who is going to be your quote-unquote ace. If they are going to be the SP1, I do like Logan Webb down here a lot. But Fried versus Gilbert. Fried got a tougher matchup going against the Dodgers. A Dodgers team who he did like absolutely destroy in his first start out. 7 innings pitched, 2 hits against, no earned runs, 8 Ks, like just decimated them. So he has shown that he can shut them down. And he's been the more consistent pitcher so far this season compared to Gilbert, at least. And then his K rate has been up. It's been higher than Gilbert's recently. Now he's cheaper. So that's kind of why I put Fried over Gilbert, even though he's going up against the Dodgers. So it is, I do say it reluctantly, going up against the Dodgers, but I think Fried's probably your best option among these top 3. Gilbert, if you want to argue that he should be number 1, totally get it. Going up against the Angels, they do have some pop in their lineup as well. Gilbert's strikeouts have been a little bit lower than Fried's as of late. He's been a little bit more inconsistent. You can kind of see he has some low teen games all throughout here, allowing 3 or more earned runs quite often. So I think it's the price tag, the 9.9K, that's making me a little bit hesitant. However, I don't think salary is really going to be too much of an issue on this slate. The San Francisco Giants, I'll just tell you now, are probably going to be your super chalk bats of the day. And just look how cheap they are, 4.2, 4.1, and then you're already in the mid 3s and lower for everybody else. So I don't think salary is going to be too much of an issue on this slate at all. But yeah, so that kind of is the first high tier. Mid tier, Webb, Sandoval, Eflin. Webb is San Francisco is the biggest favorite on the slate, combined with the lowest over/under total on the slate. Pretty much means Vegas is expecting Logan Webb to do very well. I would agree. His strikeout rate has gone through the roof this past couple of starts. So, I mean, yeah, at just 7.8K and a nice home matchup against a weak offense with a higher K rate discount, Webb probably is my favorite point per dollar play. I take him over Fried. I take him over Gilbert. Just given everything. Sandoval, Eflin. Eflin's been very boomer bust. He kind of fits like that Snell category. Just a little less than Snell because the strikeouts just kind of haven't been there. But still, he can have those games where he's hitting 30 DK points, but he can also have those games where he has 4, 0, -3, 6. So he's kind of like Snell light. That's kind of why I'm having ranked him 3rd here. And then Sandoval going up against Seattle. Fairly consistent so far on the season, all things considered. Just not too exciting. Nothing to get excited about. Just go down to Logan Webb for 200 cheaper, or just go up to Max Fried for 600 cheaper. GPP only. Yeah. So Fried, Webb, probably my favorite 2. Gilbert 3rd in there, and then on. Looking at the cheap guys though, White for the Dodgers going up against Atlanta. Very tough matchup. I mean, Atlanta is an elite offense. However, they do strike out quite a bit. They have a very high K rate, all things considered. White, if he can get that nice 5 to 7 strikeout game, go 5 innings, get you 70 pitches. Obviously, things are a little off in his averages and everything because he was a reliever. But if he can get you 15 DK points at 6.1K, if you can get 2.5K out of your pitcher, awesome for cash. So 15 DK points, not out of the realm for him. Obviously, it is a little risky just given Atlanta and what they're capable of doing. Same thing as Fried. It's a nice spot, or it's a tough spot, but it might be kind of where you land when you get into that price range. So I got White there. Davies, righty, going up against Detroit. We know all about that, how they struggle so much against right-handed pitching. Davies has been, he's been doing pretty well as of late. You can kind of see a couple blips here and there, but he's more than capable of shutting down a Detroit team that struggles against right-handed pitching. I don't want anything of Minor. I don't want anything of Senzatella. Beto and Archer, I just kind of like the scraps, the leftover pieces. So that kind of wraps things up with the pitchers. You can kind of see everything I have ranked out here. Webb is still probably my favorite like point per dollar play in terms of pitcher, given everything. So yeah, so you'd probably be my SP1. I'd start there and then just kind of fill in as I need to go. San Francisco, I already mentioned they're the top stack on the slate. They're probably going to have the highest implied run total, and they're cheap. It's pretty straightforward there. San Francisco, favorite play on this slate. I have Minnesota below them. Minnesota's really let me down right now. They are currently getting shut out against Marquez and Colorado, but nice bounce back spot tomorrow night, possibly Saturday night against Senzatella, who just can't strike anybody out. So Minnesota, they have a lot of nice bats. They're pretty pricey, obviously with Buxton and Correa and Arias above 5K. But they do have some cheap guys as well. Kurloff's only 3.2. Larnack is only 2.6. Urshela at 3.8. Yeah, I mean, like they do have cheap plays they could be going to. Second biggest favorite on the slate. Going up against a weak pitcher at home. I think it's a nice bounce back spot for these Twins. Arizona, I do like them going up against Faedo. It's their lefties, but it's also Walker. He is a right-handed bat facing a righty, but he's got the best numbers of anybody against right-handed pitching on Arizona, so I would be starting with him there. Alec Thomas, falling in love with him as a DFS player. He's just super cheap, and he's just been doing very well. Got nice numbers against right-handed pitching. Varsho, for sure, Peralta. Then you kind of see they just became the Houston Astros in terms of DFS. They take up your outfield spot and then nice first base spot. So yeah, but Arizona, don't mind them. Atlanta kind of rounding things out. Philadelphia is my top GPP play going up against Snell, just because Snell, he has the ability to absolutely get blown up. And with the expensive bats that Philly has, I could see them being a little less owned. So probably my favorite GPP play there. Dodgers going up against Fried, probably the second GPP play, just because I could see a lot of people going towards Fried, especially if they're going to be paying up there. And he shut them down in his first start. So, and the prices, I just keep naming things. But yeah, they're probably my second favorite GPP play. San Diego, Colorado, rounding things out. The Angels, I have them in the cheap category. They are going up against Gilbert. So it is a little bit tougher of a matchup. But outside of Ohtani, Trout, and Ward, I mean, you're already down in the 3Ks. And the next thing you know, you got two guys on AL. You're in 2.7, 2.3, Duffy, Rengifo. So, I mean, they're cheap. Walsh, I'd be targeting him at just 3.7K. There's a lot of first basemen that I do like on this slate. But Walsh at 3.7K, he's fine. Obviously, you have Ohtani. Obviously, you have Trout, Ward, your usual guys, the guys that carry everything with that LA offense. Detroit, I have next up. Detroit, I wouldn't mind for like some one-offs. I know I mentioned that Davies, I do have some interest in him. But outside of Baez, you're looking at 2.8K and lower for every single bat. So certainly one-offs, if you need a punt play, you can absolutely find a guy in a great batting order spot to do some damage there. Yeah, I mean, that kind of really covers everything. Cincinnati, running, and Seattle. I have like really no interest in Seattle. I know I'm not super high on Sandoval, but it's the not super high on Sandoval, but just 5.7 for Rodriguez and 5K for Suarez, 4.8, 4.5. Just tough to really build around them. And I don't get too excited with that offense. They let me down enough in the past. Probably not going to fall for it again. So yeah, I mean, cash builds, I would start with, Logan Webb, and then maybe fill in. You could either go up to Fried and Gilbert or go down to like a Davies or White. depending on what you want to do. I don't think salary is going to be too much of an issue. So like even if you did pay all the way up for Gilbert, if you wanted to then go with like a big San Francisco stack, which would probably be popular, we'll just throw in Flores, we'll throw in Longoria, just trying to get some right-handed bats in here. But obviously, if you go with like Peterson or Yastrzemski or Belt, Yastrzemski actually does have nice numbers. We'll throw him in there instead of Jock. So yeah, so like you're at 4.8K remaining. I mean, you can pretty much put in whoever you want on this slate in terms of cash. And then GPP, I'd be leading it off probably with Philadelphia or the Dodgers. Or even if you want to go Arizona, I wouldn't mind Arizona as a nice GPP play, just because, I mean, it's Arizona. Nobody really likes to stack them, so they could get lower ownership there. But, you know, maybe they sneak in under the radar. I don't mind them. They're probably my third favorite play. So, yeah. Yeah, it's late. I'm exhausted. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I'm kind of fumbling over my words right now. So I'm going to wrap things up there. Hopefully this was enough for you guys to at least get like a first look as to like what this slate's going to be. Pretty straightforward. Play Logan Webb, play San Francisco bats, and just kind of fill in from there. So that kind of covers things. Thanks for watching. As always, good luck in your contest on Saturday night. And hopefully the early slate goes well for you too. And we'll see you guys in the next video.